I'm Aaron Graber with Ventrac, and today we're going to talk about one of the lesser known but more important accessories for the tractor, and that's the mid-weight kit. The mid-weight kit includes this mounting bar that goes through the center of the frame, front half of the tractor, as well as these mounts, one on the left side, this is the left, and then the other on the right side is the inverse of this. And then you can see already on this tractor is the whole system set up with 2 of our suitcase weights on the mount kit itself. This whole setup adds a little bit of weight with the bar and the mounts, and then a little over 80 pounds in suitcase weights on both sides of the tractor. What you're gaining with this kit is extra traction right over the front wheels. This is very important for the air-cooled models because those engines are actually a lot lighter than the liquid-cooled models, and they don't have a radiator inside to add that additional weight. And then this kit further increases that traction for the liquid-cooled units. So if the ground is very soft or the surface that you're working on is very delicate, then it would make sense not to use this. But in most applications, especially where you're concerned about traction, this kit makes a lot of sense. So if you're digging with a power bucket and you need more traction to drive forward, or if you're mowing on the side of a hill and you want more front wheel traction as well, this kit makes sense in both of those applications and a lot of other ones as well. Compatibility of this kit is pretty universal. Any of the attachments will work with it except for the loader. So once you have the loader installed, you need to use this bar to mount the loader too, so you don't have the ability to run these brackets and the extra weights. You also can't use these with a cab because the cab actually occupies this space. So if you turn the steering wheel to full lock, then these wheels can break those bottom windows of the cab and interfere with the structure. So no loader and no cab, but everything else should match with these weight kits. So if you'll notice on a 4520, 4500, actually goes back to 4100 too, so these are all compatible. There's a hole in this front frame. It usually has black plugs in here, and if you take those plugs out, you can slide this bar all the way through that frame. And this bar then anchors. You use this bracket to bolt to the left side, and then this bracket to the right side. There's another bracket that captures it, and it anchors on the frame of the tractor. And this bar goes through the center of the machine, and then these pieces hang out the other side, and then that's where you mount these brackets too. And what that does is it gives you a place to hang the weights. You can fit 2 weights on both sides, and that adds additional weight very near the front axle, and that's the big importance here with this kit. Installation time is pretty simple. I've done one of these kits before, maybe 10-15 minutes at the most if you're not familiar with it. Very simple once it's actually installed, and then taking these brackets and the weights on and off is a couple-minute job. So I'm just going to demonstrate how easy it is to take these off. Basically, you pull a pin here on the inside and then pull this long pin out, and then each one of these weights comes off. Each weight is 42 pounds, so you're adding a little bit over 80 pounds to each side of the tractor with this kit by the time you factor in the brackets and the bar itself. And then what you see there is what's left over. You can leave those brackets on if you don't want the extra weight. If you're working on a sensitive surface and you're trying to minimize the weight of the tractor or something like that, or you're trying to balance front and rear weight ballast, or you can take the brackets themselves off. To take the brackets off, you do have to loosen these bolts here on the inside because they bolt to the loader bar itself. And then once those nuts are loose, you can slide the bracket off. So let's talk a little bit about what it's like to use these weights in this weight kit. Whenever I drive a tractor with and without these back to back, it's really obvious what the benefits are. I'll give an exact example here. So something like a finish mower deck. Depending on what your goals are, you'll run weight transfer either more or less with the attachment. So if I want to lay down the most bold stripes that I can, then I would have less weight transfer with a finish deck out front because I want the most amount of weight on the roller as I can. That way it bends the grass over and the stripe is more pronounced. But what that does, compared to having weight transfer fully on, is have less traction on the front wheels of the machine. So what you'll notice, especially with a 72-inch deck that's a little bit wider, a little bit heavier, is going around a tight turn, the front wheels will push a little bit more. And it's not something that makes a big difference in terms of how the machine functions, but as an operator, you can feel that if you have a lot of hours on the machine and you know what that feels like. But what you can do to offset that is you can get the best stripe possible by having weight transfer off, and then to gain some of that traction back, you can add this weight kit to the tractor, which puts some more traction back on those front wheels. That's it for this accessory. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any specific questions about the mid-weight kit, be sure to leave them in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on the rest of our social media so that you can get updates on the rest of the Ventrac accessories just like this one.